Welcome to the very first episode of our École Bilingue de Berkeley podcast, a space where ideas, voices, and cultures meet. At EB, we believe that bilingual education does more than teach two languages. It opens two worlds. Every day, our students learn to think, dream, and connect across boundaries. They move fluidly between French and English, between cultures and perspectives, discovering that curiosity and empathy are universal languages. EB has been a home for families who believe that education should prepare children not just for school, but for life. In our classrooms, you'll hear laughter, collaboration, and often a beautiful blend of accents and ideas that remind us that understanding grows from when we listen deeply. This podcast is an invitation to do so, to listen, to reflect, and to celebrate the stories that make our school so unique. From student to teacher, we will explore what it means to learn, to belong, and to thrive in a bilingual community that dares to dream beyond borders. Hi, I am Sébastien Robert, head of school at École Bilingue de Berkeley, and I'm so glad you are joining us for this journey of voices, stories, and connections, ensemble, together. For the first episode, I'm joined by two amazing leaders, Magali Noth, head of primary, and Fabien Lombard, head of secondary. Today, we want to explore our curiosity, which is one of our school values, drives language acquisition and cultures understanding. So let's dive in. Curiosity is one of our 4 school values, and it's a powerful through line across bilingualism, learning, and belonging. When we took curiosity as a school value, we decided to add this description. We love to learn, and we enthusiastically seek to discover the world around us and ourselves. So, when we think about curiosity, we want to explore this value as something that we can teach. But can we teach curiosity? Is it something that is meaningfully done at EB? And what are the ways in which our students are learning differently? So my first question for Magali will be around our early years. At EB, our students start at 2 years old, which is a very early in their educational journey. And we know that when students are 2 years old, their curiosity is through the roof. They ask boundless questions, and everything is about curiosity. And so my first question to you, Magali, is how do our teachers harness the natural curiosity in our bilingual schools from our students?
Thank you, Sébastien. That's a great question. First of all, in your introduction, when you were talking about curiosity and how, can we teach curiosity? To me, it's a fun question because in preschool, I think it's more children who are teaching us about curiosity.
Indeed.
Than us teaching the children curiosity. Because the children at that age, 2, 3, 4, they're curious about anything, especially, they experiment through their senses. So whatever you can give them that is tactile or visual or audio or any type of senses, they love it. So we have it. And I think the privilege for us to teach in a bilingual school, it's to learn also from our colleagues. And what I observe here coming from Europe, where curiosity might be, it is in the center of the questions, but in preschool, we have a tendency more maybe to give answers to the children than to to spark that curiosity. It's being in the Bay Area. Curiosity is all over the place, and our teachers are super inspired, especially our French teachers. They really look at our English teachers and learn from them. Learn how to ask the question, how to spark that interest in the children. And then, of course, in preschool, a lot of projects are, hands-on activities that bring that curiosity. Simple projects that we have probably weekly in preschool. In most of the preschool classroom, it's like a cooking project. And to me, it's one of the best projects to spark that curiosity in the children. It's like it's tactile, it has smells, and it's visual. And, for children at the young age to crack an egg can be something amazing. I mean, it's magical to open that egg and to see the yolk coming out, and you hear the wow and, the excitement of the children behind that. So we see it in every day and every moment in the classrooms. Our teachers combining the French and, again, American system, using for example, what we call the autonomous boxes, les boîtes de l'autonomie. Those boxes are super inviting for the children to go inside, to see what's happening, and to start to wonder, to question. They learn about making patterns, about, drawing lines, about different things. And you see them opening that box and starting to look at it, exploring it. That's the first stage, right? The exploration, but also that wonder that comes. It's magical. I think that's what it is in preschool.
Yeah, well, thank you very much. I mean, this is amazing because we see that in preschool, curiosity is at the heart of the classroom, and what I'd like you maybe also to expand on is some of our signature programs like gardening.
Mm-hmm.
I know that our 2-year-old have dedicated time in their schedule to just learn and explore the earth and in our garden with our amazing garden teacher Florence. So can you just tell us a little more on what is being done when you are 2 years old and at the gardening and how this can spark curiosity?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, gardening, which is a program that we start in TPS and it goes up to G3, and we really are so excited to have it at EB. It is one of our signature programs, as you said. It's like, it's prepared in advance, but as the teacher Florence say, it's like sometimes it just happen right there because suddenly we had that experience. You have a caterpillar passing by, and that sparks like questions and where is it going and what it will happen, and it brings like an entire new world and new teaching. So it can be improvised, as I said, or it can be prepared, like when they did the apple cider, and having apple, cutting apple, opening it, looking at it inside, what is inside the apple, looking at those seeds and what they can become. That's like, new concepts in a way for young children. I mean, we eat apples every day, probably. Parents do it, but do we speak about the inside of the apple? I don't think anybody is doing that, or a few parents, of course, but not all of us. So Florence is really bringing that aspect of questioning the children, wondering what's happening, what is inside, and going further. And then they bring that in the classroom. Teachers will be in the classroom reading books about, on apples, so about apples and, the stems and all those different parts of the apple. And that is also explored then in English. So it's explored in French and in English. So double vocabulary and double questioning with, the same answers, but differently. So
Yeah. Wow. Wait. Thank you very much. That's amazing. Talking about the caterpillar, I saw pictures of you too, taking care of our garden habitat.
We saved it.
Yes.
Well, it was children who were worried about that caterpillar.
Yeah, absolutely.
We saved it.
Well, wonderful.
Compassion.
Thank you.
One of the other value of EB.
One of my last question for you, Magali, in terms of curiosity is, how curiosity can lead to a form of empathy when we, develop an understanding of someone that can be different from ours, someone who has a different tradition, someone who comes from another part of the world. We have an international community and, the experiences of our students are very wide and very different. And so I know that, you have been a big advocate of the social emotional learning, and a lot of what we do at EB was initiated by you. But so can we make a parallel between being curious from others and leading to empathy? Is there something for the kind of older elementary years?
That's a complex question, but I mean, the understanding of the world surrounding start really around the age of 6, 7. So I think that's when curiosity become more important, and more important, I mean, with others. You start to be curious of what's fair, what's unfair. Like that's like a big question when you are 7, 8 years old. So that's, I think, where you really start to link that with empathy and the world of others. And, when you think about social emotional learning and curiosity, it's when you start to be able to put yourself in the other's shoes and question yourself from the other's perspective and wonder, what would I have done if I would have been at that moment, at that place, or being the other person. So the question that we bring and, being curious about that, it's when there's an issue, a little confrontation or whatever, we want the children to fill out what we call a reflection form, and really taking time to think about, what happened at the moment, why was I so heated, what was the problem, and then, taking like another perspective and like, what could I have done differently? And so, yes, then, those are also curious questions to me. It's like to start to question yourself and to reflect on yourself. And again, that becomes more possible. I do it with like children in kindergarten, and I ask them to draw and I write for them and to try to identify exactly what happened at that moment. And then how did you feel? And then, what could you have done differently? But really the question, what could you have done differently, the children start to be able to answer when they are like 7, 8 years old. And that's when you see their perspective is changing. Again, they want to see the question about fairness. Is that fair? Is that not fair? That's like a big question that start to come up and not always easy to answer, especially when, we also are in inclusive school and work with, all kind of students, with like students who are sometimes neurodiverse, and you need to, the world of fairness change. So that's a complex one when you just want to know if it's fair or not. Mm-hmm. And again, it evolves with age. So, when children start to be 9, 10 years old, they start to be more into that caring moment. It's like, what do I care about around me? And then they start to see that fairness can be different for different people. But not an easy question, Sébastien.
No, there's so much to be said on this topic. I think curiosity is also one of the leading skills for the future for our students. When you think about a world AI-driven, where knowledge is everywhere, and we know that critical thinking will be needed, but I think curiosity will be one of the top skills for our learners.
Can I say something on that one? Because we were just talking with Fabien earlier about that, and with a world with AI coming in, and when that's where you see the questioning of the children evolving, and around like 10, 11, we were talking about, it's like not only they question about the world around them, about what's happening, but also, where is that coming from? And starting to look at the sources. And I think, we were just mentioning it, when we talk about AI, it's like, where do the sources come from? Where do the information come from? And how can they help you to answer a question?
Yeah, wow. Well, that's a great transition for the secondary school led by Fabien. And so one of my first questions is, curiosity looks different when you are a teenager. You are not questioning why is the sun yellow, or why is the moon coming every night. You are more looking at a different perspective on the world, and also looking at various experiences. Can you give us an example, Fabien, of some programs or some projects that can really spark curiosity in our grade 6 to grade 8 students?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, first, you're absolutely right to say that teens are not less curious than the younger student. They are curious in a very different way. Their curiosity changes and is more selective, and we take that into consideration. So, for example, for us at the middle school, it's just like the lower school. It's really a mindset, a way of learning. So one thing that is very central to our classroom experience is the inquiry-based learning. We don't want to teach students what to think, but how to think. To give you an example, I was in a class, history, geography class last week, and it was in 8th grade. The lesson was about globalization. And it was not a lecture about globalization. The lesson was around, is globalization a good thing or not? Seems to be a very simple question, but then you had group of students debating from different perspectives. You have the economic perspective, but that also depends if you're a rich country, a developing country. Where are you in a rich country or in a developing country? If you live in San Francisco, in Berkeley, you might benefit from it. If you live in an area that suffers from it, you have a very different perspective. You have a ecological, environmental impact. You have the social, political impact of globalization, and the cultural one. So then they start to see that you don't have a right or wrong answer. The world becomes more complex, therefore more interesting for them, and they keep asking questions. They're more curious. It's not a binary world, 0 or 1, and that's trigger a lot of questions. Way more complex question. That's what an example I have in mind. And so we try to develop programs around that. So, for example, we have some of our signature program like TEDx Youth, where students who are selected, they choose a subject that is very interesting for them, and they are going to work for the entire first semester on it and try to develop their presentation with strong argument and convince people of why it matters. So again, it shows that students are able to connect what they're doing in class with their interest, and they share what's interesting for them to the entire school. It's a very successful program and very good for the students, I must say.
Well, thank you very much. Yeah, I know that the TEDx program is something that develops curiosity, of course, but really many other skills for the middle schoolers. So I want to thank also all the teachers who are leading this project. In terms of curiosity, and I'm pretty sure you see that. I think Magali touched on it in terms of the differences between the kind of American pedagogy, American way of teaching, and the French way of teaching. How does the middle school blend those two approaches? And what are you doing to keep our students, just to give them the appetite and of learning something that sometimes can be challenging as well, because we know that being curious is one thing, but then when the material or when the topic starts to be a little bit complex to understand, some can drop, or some students can say, well, it's too difficult, I don't want to engage with the material. And I think that's where our approach at EB, blending both ways of teaching, can be very powerful. So can you expand a little bit on that?
Yeah, no, that's very true. We've all met teenagers, and they don't necessarily want to go to school every day or learn about what they're supposed to learn every day. So we always keep that in mind and find ways for them to connect to their learning. And our American teachers are, in a way, used to that. It's less true traditionally in the French system, even if it changed. And I must say at EB, we are lucky to have actually strong collaboration between the two teachers, the French and the American teachers. They work together very well, which is the case, for example, Histoire, Géographie, and Social Studies, where they actually can question the notion of middle age. When they study middle age in Europe, is this term relevant for the American continent? And the two teachers are working together. We have that also in math. In math, it's almost co-teaching, because they do 3 hours of math in English, 3 hours of math in French, and very often they are in each other's classroom, providing support, a different way to approach the material, something that is very important to make sure that you can have the intention and engage your students. Our French and English actually teachers also and collaborate together, and they can collaborate with other colleagues too. I'm thinking, for example, of this French teacher we just arrived this year, collaborating with our art teacher on making a movie related to the French program. So it's a way to teach the program in a less academic way, more engaging, more empowering for the students, that they have more agency, and therefore they're more engaged and more curious and more willing to go deeper in their learning. Because if you're not engaged, you don't want to work harder to make sure that the students are getting deeper and they work harder, because it's more and more challenging. We need to engage more in different way, and that's what we do at EB.
Wonderful. And I think it's a great segue to my last question for you two. It's regarding the adults. In a school, we are a learning community, and we need to be curious. We need to be curious about what's happening in the world. We need to be curious about the latest research, especially as we live next to one of the major universities in the world. So how are we doing that? How are we instilling the curiosity and the sense of looking at the newest approaches, latest research? What are we doing to instill curiosity in our teachers' mindset? And maybe Magali, you can start.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I mean, already the teachers who choose to come to work at EB, they are curious, because coming from Europe and wanting to be in an environment like ours, you have to be open-minded. You have to really, question yourself and question the reason why. And usually even in our interview, when we ask our teachers, why do you choose EB and why do you come at EB? It's because they want to learn new methods, discover new way of teaching. So that's like one of the beauty of having those teachers coming and being really curious about other methods that are put in place. I mean, we are lucky at EB, first of all, to have, a great teacher training and also professional development. I mean, we have such a rich program between Mission Laïque Française, which is MLF, which offer like some amazing classes. We have AFE that is training our teachers. And then we were talking about earlier, our French and English teachers who collaborate quite a bit and can observe each other also and lean onto each other with like the best, techniques or things like that. And I noticed like we have taken some pretty strong American program that we have even translated in French. If we take like, we take the morning circles, for example, from Responsive Classroom. That is something that has been put in place and is put in place all around the lower school from preschool to fifth grade. The children start in the morning with like, sitting together, sharing together, group activities and like a morning message. And that's like, that came from our teachers being very curious about that and seeing like the power of that program. For example, you take like we do a math corner, or number corner, excuse me, and it's number corner in from kindergarten to G3. That's also an American program that we translated in French, but it's working so well, and that's actually a program that is even helping and supporting that and fostering that curiosity in children, because they look at numbers, they look at patterns, and it's every day, it's ritualized, but every day they're gonna question what's happening next. And so anyway, our teachers are learning all those new programs, putting them in place when they see the value, when it really, they notice those are tools that will enhance their teaching. So, and that's being curious at the base and looking at it, exploring it, and then using it and taking it, adopting it. I think it's pretty powerful.
Oh, yeah. Thank you very much. Fabien, can you maybe expand a little bit on one of our latest professional development around AI and maybe one component of teachers' professional growth, when they are going to observe other peers in other schools, and how this can help our teachers really be curious about other methods?
Yeah, absolutely. First, I would like to say that since I arrived at EB, this is my third year here. Very happy to see how thoughtful and ready to take risk and to learn new skills the teachers are at EB. That's very impressive, and I think the curiosity goes with being able to take risk. One example of that is right now this year we have for the entire school a professional development focused on the use of AI in the classroom. How can it be used to really make a difference in the learning process of our student? And the teachers have a lot of questions about it, and it's very interesting to see that they are ready to try to make a difference for their students. So if you have a student with learning differences, can AI make their learning easier in a different way? What kind of tool can I use? Can I try this in my class? And they're already trying few tools around that, and we're going to have a second in-service day about that, and really focus on, okay, what have we done so far? Did it work or not? What can we do differently? And it's very interesting to see that the teachers are engaged in this. The other thing that I really like also is our teachers have a plan for their own evaluation, and at some point during their growth plan, they have to do a peer observation. And I have teachers this year, they are going to different schools to see how things are done. It could be bilingual school or not, but how things are done around us. We are not on an island. We want to understand what the other schools are doing. Why does it work for them? Could it work for us? In what way? And that's always good to see that things can be done differently, because, again, that's the way it's going to, this curiosity is going then to foster some questions, and you're going to revisit the way you do things, and you're going to try. And I really like that at EB, that the students and the teachers are willing to try, to fail, do it again in a different way. And for me, that's the heart of curiosity.
Growth mindset right there.
Absolutely.
Exactly. Wow. Well, thank you guys. I mean, it's amazing. So many things to discuss around curiosity, one of our school value. As we wrap up this first episode, I am reminded of a statement from Albert Einstein. I have no special talent. I am only passionately curious. And if we think about the future, curiosity will be what will the students need, because it will be a lot of learning new things, with the pace of technology, with the pace of the change in society. We don't know what will the world be in 20 years from now, and what we can really teach and instill in our students, it's the love of learning new things, the love of making difficult choices, and being curious. And I think all of that starts from, when a preschooler asks for the 10th time for the day, pourquoi, mais pourquoi, mais pourquoi, mais pourquoi, to maybe a middle schooler, as you mentioned, looks at a global issue and wonder how do others see this issue. Because, in the end, it's what connects us across languages, cultures, and generations. So thank you very much. Thank you for joining us in this conversation, and for being part of a community that chooses to stay curious. I am Sébastien Robert, head of school at École Bilingue, and for our next episode, we will continue exploring what it means to learn, to belong, and to thrive ensemble together. Thank you very much. Merci Fabien, merci Magali.
Merci. Au revoir.
Au revoir.
And don't forget, for prospective parents, we have our upcoming open houses at the lower school building on November the 22nd from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Come and explore our lower school campus and bilingual classrooms. If you want to come, register at eb.org. Thank you.